in your schedule to invest in your knowledge, gathering knowledge as far as how you can live a healthier lifestyle, when I know a lot of us will be at home working the thumb, hitting the remote, and just kicking back. So you should be commended for coming out on a Saturday morning. So, and thank you. And thank you to Jackie for allowing me to be part of this presentation. So, my title, although it's different from in the book, but in the pamphlet, but it'll cover, what that topic is. It's basically, when I was thinking about it, I'm thinking personal responsibility. So my title is, It's On You. This is when you take responsibility for your health, not only your health, but your family as well. Because as parents, and I'm the dad of 3 girls, and the son of 1 lady. So, they look at me, to help them. So I have to take care of myself in order to be an example and actually help them, and hopefully I can be blessed enough to be around. So we're going to look at exercising for a healthy lifestyle. So the first question is, why should you choose a healthy lifestyle? Why? So often we tell people things they should do. When I'm working with a young athlete, I don't say, hey, just do this exercise just because. You do this exercise, and I like to give them a reason so that way it sticks with them. So for one, it makes you feel physically better. We all know the benefits of exercise, and like Jackie had mentioned, it reduces stress, blood pressure, makes you feel better, gets those endorphins going. And for aesthetic reasons, if you start to lose weight and by chance you get back into that outfit that you wore back when you were, early 30s, 20s, whatever you are, and physically, you feel better. So, okay. Also, very important, it helps avoid certain life-threatening ailments. And I'll go into that a little bit later in the slides. And when I spoke earlier, it demonstrates leadership among your family and friends. Often, when I'm at work, you see my bio, I work at Lawrence Livermore Lab, and in my department, there have been people who have come in, they've exercised, and they've lost weight, they've maybe had diabetes, and some of them have been able to get off the medication, and they demonstrated leadership by investing in their health, doing what they needed to do, and people would ask, what did you do? So that's taking leadership. Also in our families, eating better, exercising, our kids look toward us, our families look at us. So that is demonstrating leadership. Okay. Here are a few little tidbits here. You see, overweight people are 2 times as likely to have high blood pressure. So, when we're carrying around more weight than we're supposed to be, our hearts have to work harder, our muscles have to work harder, which affects our heart. So, your pressure goes up because it has to work a lot harder. Diabetes is really big. It dramatically increased in children, who aren't exercising, and we won't even speak to how the schools have pretty much done away with physical education and some of these Xbox games that are sedentary. I'm sure you can attest to this. When I was a kid, it wasn't sitting at the TV watching somebody play basketball. I had to be out there playing basketball, strike out, running races and things like that. Now it's different, so that contributes to our kids being sedentary. When our kids are sedentary, and specifically with type 2 diabetes, that comes from being sedentary and gaining weight and things like that. Now type 2 is a totally different thing, but for the purposes of this presentation, I won't go into that. And the third is overweight adolescents. 70% they become overweight or obese, but that increases 10% if the parents are overweight or obese. So again, as parents, we have to be those examples. As guardians, we have to be those examples, and hopefully the kids can learn something. I know they may not learn it right now, as I can attest with my own kids. They may not understand some things, but somewhere along the line, it'll click. They'll remember, or they can come back and ask me, and we can discuss it. Okay, next slide. And these are contributing factors. 43% adolescents watch 2 hours or more of TV. That's a sedentary activity. They're sitting around watching it instead of going outside than actually doing the activity. 75% of children between age 6 and 11, and then we're looking at the nutritional aspect. You know, I know a lot of people don't like vegetables. I run into it all the time. For example, when some of the officers who I work with at Lawrence Livermore, some of them from year to year, they may not work out as hard. Their eating habits may diminish. So when it's time for us to look at things, I give them a food log. So that's it. 5 days, I want you to write down everything you eat. So that's the first thing I look at, because I know a lot of people don't take in vegetables. And I can look at a guy all day, or a lady, I can look at this thing all day and I don't see one vegetable. You know, and I say, first of all, this is what we need to do. Start eating vegetables, and that's very important. As I mentioned previously, the state requirements for physical education. I don't even know, does it even exist? How many take PE nowadays? PE? Man, but I know the requirements are decreasing. So if you look at 47% of middle school and junior high, and 26% of high school requires at least 3 years of PE. And the problem with that is, okay, so 47% at the junior high requires it, but as we become older, 26. So the requirements are decreasing, but at the same time, as you know, in high school, these eating habits are just they're bad. Things that they offer, and so they're going into adulthood less active and making poor choices regarding food. So that is just, they're just leading them into, you know, being overweight or obese and having some health issues. Okay, children 12 to 19, 1 in 3 are overweight or obese. The BMI is a body mass index. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, with all the technological things we have. You can look it up. You can actually look at it. It's based on your height and your age. So for this particular instance, they use the BMI. Now, my problem with the BMI is a lot of health companies like to use that thing. But at the same time, you gotta be careful, because if you look at the average, this is a little caveat away from this. If you look at the average defensive back in the NFL, you know what kind of shape